All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, this day. Pick it up at John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you. You have not the love of Allah in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another? Receive not the honor that comes from Allah only. Do not think that I will accuse you to Allah. There is one that accuses you, even Moses in whom you trust. Because had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? Well, praise be to Yahuwah, name of Yahushua, bless his Kadesh Shabbat, for another opportunity to walk in the ways of righteousness. Shalom, my G. Proverb 15. We've already done verse 25 before, so we will start at verse 26. You know, it's an interesting time that we living in. You know what I'm saying? And it's only interesting for one reason and one reason alone. I thank Yahuwah because before I knew anything about anything as it comes to the way of Kadash and righteousness, that he allowed me not to be no fool. You know, I wasn't an average 15, 16-year-old boy. Neither were most of the dudes that I kicked it with. We read about a lot of things and studied about a lot of things that is now, you know, the thing to do, and quote unquote being woke and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But these were things that just interest us at the time, things that we used to like to sit around and discuss because, like I say, they were interesting to us. You know what I mean? We had certain types of conversations and affiliations and interactions with all manner of people. I can remember my homeboy told me he had talked to this Mason, and this Mason was telling him, you know, hey man, when this stuff go down, the people who be in the street who've been surviving outside of the system, they gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying? And all this old other stuff. You know what I'm saying? We were sitting around talking about Illuminati this and Illuminati that. Not this Illuminati stuff on the YouTube videos, but the actual organization. You know, the actual organization started by Adam Westfall. You know what I'm saying? And the things that pertain to that, more on the geopolitical side, not and the economic side, not on the entertainment side. That was just not on radar. You know what I'm saying? I did read stuff about the entertainment business through other means as time went on. You know what I'm saying? But this thing's more things on the geopolitical side and the government side. And all it makes me think about is what Kudo said on cell therapy. You can listen to me now. You're gonna believe me later on in the future. Because a lot of niggas like, boy, that nigga that crazy. That nigga that is insane. And now niggas not looking too insane anymore. And it's not about, vindication and justification. Because sometimes when you know things and you're ahead of your time, it's forfeit being when you're ahead of your time. Your mindset and your thought process is not congruent with your generation at that particular time. And they'll catch up with you over time. You know what I'm saying? You're just seeing things that they can't see. You know what I'm talking about? You're understanding things that they can't understand. When you look at the apostles, when Yahushua told them that, you know, blessed are your eyes that they and your ears that they hear. Because these people cannot hear what you hear, they cannot see what you see. I tell you this because we're discussing things as it pertains to the gospel, and we will begin to delve in those things shortly, momentarily, if you will. But I want you to understand that. You know what I'm saying? See, the expansion and elevation of your mind comes in a few forms. It comes through diligently learning, reading things, and not always seeking to be entertained and wasting away your time. It comes from shalom, man. It comes from who you decide to surround yourself with. Because truth be told, your mindset is going to be set by the people who you choose to affiliate and associate with on a consistent basis. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to dictate, because at the end of the day, if your mindset is in a certain place, you're not going to be able to be congruent with people whose mindset is not over an extended period of time, unless your mind state is just like theirs. As we've already stated on numerous occasions, the text tells you, say, evil communication corrupt good manners. And he said, I speak this to you. Some of you know not Torah. I speak this to your shame. And evil communication, and we're not just talking about sin. If you have a particular type of mindset and the people around you don't have it, they will suck you into their folly. Because in order for you to stay in that mindset, you would have to be like the cream in the coffee. You'd have to rise to the top. And that means you would have to separate from them. You're no longer in the same family. You're no longer in the same household. Meditate on the same things. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? That's just a part of life. I've known since I was 15 years old that this society, I didn't know the depths, of course, at 15 years old. I knew at 15 years old, for 25 years now, that this society socially engineers people. Read enough books at the time, seen enough information to justify that thought process. And I've watched it for a quarter century. You know what I'm saying? And we go for it and we fall for it. And you got to be wiser than that. You have to always know. I keep telling y'all this. If it comes through that TV screen, so now I can't even say TV screen no more. You got to watch for the stuff that pop up in your news feed on whatever social media site you want. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter. I wouldn't care what it is. They engineering your mind. And you have to have the discernment and the ability to not react off of emotion, to not react off of preconceived thought processes, but to actually look, discern, and understand what is before your face. They're manipulating your mind to get you ready to hear some bad news. Because see, the beast coming to preach bad news, them bad tidings. Them ain't good tidings. Proverbs 15:26. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yahuwah. But the words of the pure are pleasant words. So now we need to stop. Y'all already know what thoughts is. It's the inventions, it's the plots, it's the devices, it's the purposes of the wicked. Pause. Just on general principle. Proverbs chapter 6. We talked about it a little bit last week, but just on general principle. 6 and 16, if you would. Matter of fact, 6 and 12. Because since the thoughts of the wicked, see, pause. Before we even read Proverbs 6 and 12, come to Mark chapter 7. See, let me do it like that. I thank the Lord. Lord. It's a beautiful day under heaven with his made. I want you to come around here to 7 and 18. You can pick it to 7 and 14 of the book of Mark. This is just on general principle. And when he called the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. Key thing that you have to sit back and look at is he told Shalom, man. He told these people to listen, and the key point is understand. Remember what the book told you. Wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, but in all you'll get some understanding. When you hear that word and you believe it, understand it. When you shema, understand it. Get the insight. You got to get the insight. Let me tell you something, all this other stuff we got going on, you want to change your name, still ain't got no insight. You wearing fringes, still ain't got no insight. You got on a Hebrew garment, still ain't got no insight. You know you an Israelite, still ain't got no insight. We're talking about on the inside on the mystery, insight on the gospel, insight on the plan which was set in motion from the foundation of the world. You got to have that insight. You don't have it, everything you're doing is for nothing. Just let that be known. If you don't have the insight, you already know you're worthy of death. You're doing it for nothing. See, it's not. See, let me tell you something, man. And I want y'all to understand this here. And I don't know if I've clearly and plainly expressed this enough to y'all over the course of time. It ain't about how much information you can recite, right? It ain't even about how many scriptures you know. It's do you understand it? Understand. And again, I keep telling y'all, stop seeking to understand it like you're seeking to understand curriculum in a high school or curriculum in a college or the mission statement on your job. Can't approach it like that. You have to approach it that you understand what the mission is of a particular individual and to operate according to what his will is. And the only way that you could do that is because you have a delight to know who he is, what he's about, and his ways. That's how you get to understanding. You're not gonna get this understanding like you did when you was in school. You're not. You're gonna get the understanding because you you know what? The same way that you got people in your life that you know and understand, that's how you gotta approach Yahushua. That's how you gotta approach Elohim. You gotta approach him in the same fashion. I know that might sound odd. I know I've said it repeatedly, but that's how you have to do it. When you approach him, like most of us don't have very close and ingrained and intertwined relationship with the man whom loins you emanated out of, aka your father. So you don't know what it's like to see a man, know his orders, know his rules, know his thought process, and seek to emulate it and seek to understand it in order to please him. Because you believe that everyone is to please you. So because now you have to unlearn the fact that it's not about anyone pleasing you, but it's about you pleasing someone else. It's very difficult to understand because you have to forsake yourself. You have to forsake all your selfish desires, all your selfish inclinations, all your narcissistic leanings, anything that you can come up with, you have to put to the side because you understand that it's about yielding to someone else other than you, and that you are not entitled to anything from this person. Because if he's giving you food, clothing, and shelter, he's giving you everything that he's required to give of you. He's giving you the word. You got to understand that. You go back and look at that covenant. He has things that are required of him. And if he's giving that to you, he's meeting his requirement. He doesn't have to go above and beyond granting you what you want. He goes above and beyond because that's what he desires to do. And anyone who goes above and beyond for someone, you know why they do it? Because that person delights in pleasing them. So since they see that this person delights in pleasing them, then they delight to reward them, to give them what they ask for. Because in their mind, it's the least that I can do for your delightful service. See, that you're not begrudgingly doing it. You're not doing it out of obligation. You're doing it because it brings joy to your heart in order to fulfill his will. Because as he said, as Yahushua said, he said, Father, I do always those things that please you. You know what I'm saying? See, you ain't got that type of mind frame to look at a man and say, I will always do the things that please you. That is a foreign concept in this current society of which we dwell. And when I say society, I'm talking about the whole world, not just this God-forsaken place of which some of us dwell. I'm talking about the whole world. The thought process to look at a man and say, it delights me to do your will and to do those things that please you, disgusts a mass majority of the people on the earth. That's male and female. And that's why they don't get what they want to get from you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't delight to do the things that please him. He delights in mercy. He done told you that. He delights in judgment. He done told you that. He delights in uprightness and righteousness. He done told you that. He delights in those who trust in him with the whole mind, heart, and soul. He done told you that. This ain't got nothing to do with no pork tops, my nigga. Because see, that's got to bring something up out of you to show forth mercy, to show forth judgment, to show forth faith, to show forth uprightness of conduct. That's going to have to bring something up out you. And that's what the gospel is about, to bring that up out you. But let me just roll over here to Mark 7:15. There's nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. He said unto them, are you so without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without enter into the man, it cannot defile him, because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly, and go out into the draught, purging all meats. He said, that which come out of the man, that defile the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile the man. Come on back over here to Proverbs 6 and 12. So he tell you your problem is your heart. That's the problem. 6 and 12. Proverbs 6 and 12. See, I came back over because see, a lot of people see verse 13 and Proverbs 6 talking about masons. That's how stupid dudes be. You know what I'm saying? A naughty person, a wicked man, walk with a froward mouth. Now I want you to understand, you know what a wicked man is. Now a naughty person is a Belial, a worthless man. You know a son of Belial, base man, wicked man. So when he tell you a naughty person or Belial Adam, that's what it say. Now y'all know about who don't know about what a son of Belial is, and where it talks about sons of Belial. We won't go grab the verses and read them right at this moment, but I can tell you where you can find them. Who don't know about a son of Belial? Go ahead and drop a comment in there if you don't know about the son of Belial and what that is and what they're talking about. Go ahead and drop that in there for me real quick. I need to know that in order to know if I need to move past that or explain it. So if you just sit there and don't put nothing up there, then I'm going to take it as you understand, and I'm going to move forward. And when you come back later and say, I don't know what that is, then I'm going to look at you and be like, well, why you ain't say nothing right then? Because it don't make no sense if you don't know, sitting there being quiet, acting like you don't know. Makes no sense. What purpose does that serve? You don't know what you don't know. And how you going to know it if you don't let it be known that you don't know? I'll take that as you know, and we will move on. A wicked man is an Avon, but you know that's somebody who works wickedness. And if you recall, a froward mouth is someone who has a perverse mouth. But this one here is Ishkuth, and that is someone who distorts or crookedness, distortion. So when you look at somebody who has a froward mouth, they like to distort the word. Their mouth, their words distort what is correct. He said he wink with his eyes, he speak with his feet, he teach with his fingers. Well, let's look at one of him winking with his eyes. You look at wink, that is karats. That is to wink or to purse or to narrow or to form with his eyes. And say speaks with his feet. That word is malal, with his feet. That is to utter or to say. Well, how does he speak with his feet? Who can tell me how an individual can speak with their feet? He teach with his fingers. Yara is for teach. That word does he instructs, because it also means to shoot or to cast off. And then of course it's etzba for finger or toe. That's something to seize with. So when they say he teaches with seizure, if you will, frowardness is in his heart. He devise mischief continually, and he sow discord. That's correct, young man. He shows his actions through his lifestyle. You understand? See, come over here to Matthew 24, because what we're talking about is that rotten man. You know that rotten man. But I got to make sure that you know, because it's coming in that time. Look here, man. I didn't talk about this. Absolutely, young man. Absolutely. I didn't talk about this, and I can already see it. I've been telling you this here, like, you sit back and you look at what they're doing with the sports, especially talking about baseball. Oh, all these people catching coronavirus. It's the only way you can play a baseball season. It's like how the NBA doing it. You got to do it in a bubble. NFL's not going to be able to do it unless they do it in a bubble. They are conditioning you. They are conditioning you. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've been noticing because, shoot, I don't keep up with the masks. I ain't going to lie to you. And the only reason I put them on is just to go to the store. But I notice more and more people ain't wearing them in the store, don't care. Now, of course, we in Florida, so it's a lot of bucking us. We don't really care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It's like I was listening to a video earlier, people calling the police on people in LA. And when I say this, because in LA they were running ads saying that they would pay people to snitch on people who were not wearing masks. In Arizona, locking up people who would not shut down gyms and things of this nature. And like I was listening to this, it was a wrestling video. Dude was talking about a few professional wrestlers who don't believe in wearing masks, and the dude was just on here, just wear the mask, just wear the mask. The stuff that they were doing to put into your mind, to just do it. And it's not about the mask. We're all in this together. Look at what they're doing. They're trying to look at you, they're trying to have you look at each other as one of the same for the unity of mankind. Because you want to scream New World Order, and it's not about New World Order. You're thinking too small. See, you're not going to believe me now. You'll believe me later. See, it's about the beast and about serving the serpent. It's not about no New World Order. Who cares? See, we done got so caught up with a New World Order that you forget the point of what the text laid out. Who cares about a New World Order? Who cares? Who cares? You can't stop it, nigga. Even if there was no Elohim whatsoever, and Elohim forbid that such a thing could ever be true, you couldn't stop it if you wanted to. Because you're too stupid. You know what I'm saying? You don't think on an analytical and logical and macro and microcosmic level to be able even to put and implement a plan that could foil such a dastardly deed. And I'm not saying too stupid. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about people as a whole. As a whole, people too stupid. And you know why you're too stupid? Because you like to be entertained too much. And when you like to be entertained, you can't critically think. So when you can't critically think, you can't decipher folly. And when you can't decipher folly, you surely can't put up no counter combat. That's not the word I'm looking for. But no, you can't counter that. You can't come up with anything to offset that. Why do you think these people feed you so much entertainment? Why do you think they feed you so much entertainment? Why do you think they have you banded about and concerned with athletes and entertainers? And the fact that, especially for black people, when things happen, you look to athletes and entertainers. They have dumbed you down. Now, I've told you about this document before, and you can research it and find it for yourself. Solid Weapons for Quiet Wars. And we had heard about it when we was teenagers. I didn't actually get a chance to read it until I went to the penitentiary. You know what I'm talking about? But for the most part, we had already seen it. Dumbing down the populace. Now I want you to sit back and think. Their goal, according to Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, if my memory serves me correctly, was to keep everybody's mind on a 6th grade level. Now be honest with yourself, with all the people that you know. Adults, screw the children. All the people that you know, how many of them really think on a level past a 12-year-old child? You know what I'm saying? How many people really think past, I'm talking about male or female, how many really think past the level of a 12-year-old child? Because at 12 years old, they still ruled by their emotions, so they still have emotional impulse. They don't have the ability to discern. This was their goal, was to keep you on a 6th grade level. Also, if my memory serves me correctly, parts of that document is in Behold the Pale Horse, I believe. So that just came to my mind. I think parts of that document is in there. Sit there and think about it, adults. How many adults really think past the 6th grade level? That really critically think, that don't purchase the narrative that the mass society sells. Don't y'all never realize that people who don't buy the general consensus are always called crazy and weird and ridiculed, and people laugh at them, and then eventually they have to turn back around and say them people was right. Now I'm saying that because of the interview I listened to with Dame. When Dame went off on them niggas on the Breakfast Club, they called him all type of names, and then they had to turn back around and say, bro, you was right. You know what I'm saying? Because they were not thinking. They were thinking on a sixth grade. That whole interview is an example of what I'm talking about. How emotional and reactive and simple that these grown men were thinking that people hold in high regard. Certain sectors of this population hold Charlemagne the God in high reward and high regard. I don't know what's going on with that, man. I ain't got no notice. It ain't popped on me here that it was the connection was bad on my side. You know what I'm saying? Uh Ask yourself, there's people out here who think they hold DJ Envy in high regard. You know what I mean? But you got to sit back and think about that. They try to dumb you down. They try to dumb you down. I don't even remember how it'll come to me. Oh, Matt. Yeah, yeah. You know, they got the censorship stuff allegedly, and that's getting a lot of people upset. You had to sit back and peep the play. Most of the time, man, when you look at things, instead of reacting emotionally, you have to look at what is act. I told y'all this. The first time I really started trying to impart for y'all to understand that is when Nipsey Hussle died. And I'm like, y'all can't see what they doing. It's forth is conditioning and trying to move your mind in a particular place. It's not about the artist. It's not about the person. They're trying to socially condition and engineer you. Social engineering is not as difficult as people think it is. It's very simple because people are simple. You know, I remember reading long ago that people overseas thought Americans were the dumbest people on the face of the earth because of our arrogance, because we believed that we were free when we were really enslaved. And they said at least they knew they were enslaved, but you actually believe that you free. You know what I'm saying? And coming up as a young man, I already knew that you're not free. Because if you don't pay your property taxes, they can take your home. If you paid for the house, how could they take it? You know what I'm saying? If you strip away all the political stuff out the way, what quote unquote conservative Republicans say that they want less government, that's what you should want if you got a brain. Why would you want the government thoroughly involved with your life? How stupid is that? How stupid is that? Why would you even try? See, this is how stupid niggas is. You say that you don't like the police because the police kill you and they do all of this, but you want more government programs and intrusion in your life. That's the definition of idiot. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is you're throwing a temper tantrum because you want somebody to hug you. Why? What purpose? What makes you think that they're better to decide to make decisions on your life? Same thing, you look at a mask mandate. How is it the government's decision to tell me how I can regulate my life? How can you tell me that? And why are you cool with it? See, this is how they manipulate you. But it's not about you. It's about the greater good of the people. We have to protect each other so we can stop the spread. We got to flatten the curve. And all that is social engineering for you to accept the dictates of the government, that they have your best interests at heart, and you would not question them, and that you would push prod others to do the same. Very simple if you sit back and look at it, what they were doing. Nigga, I'm not falling for that. Bump what you talking about. Who is you? Who is Lenny Curry? To me. Who are you to me? Who is Ron DeSantis to me? Who is Donald J. Trump to me? You no one to me. I ain't got to be in the word. You no one to me. But I've got a verse for that in a moment. Matthew 24, right? Matthew 24 and 23. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Mashiach, or there, believe it not, there shall arise false Mashiachs, false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Behold, I've told you before. See, he gonna come teaching now. So I ain't even going to Greek. He gonna come teach. Come over here to Matthew 17. Why I tell you this here, right? Now, this is what you ought to do with the math and all that other stuff. Same with your taxes. This is the point that we're looking at. That's why we're turning around looking at 17 and 24. I just want you to look at what the Lord told Peter. 17 and 24. Matthew. And when they would come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, do you not your master pay tribute? He said, yes. And when he was coming to the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, what think you, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own sons or of strangers? Peter said unto him, of strangers. Yahushua said unto him, then the sons are free. See, we complain about taxes and this, that, that, and the third, but you got to remember, you're a stranger. So of course they're going to take tribute money from you. You was a stranger. But see, the taxation, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother thing. Because it didn't come into play for what you thought it came into play for. You know what I'm saying? It came into play for something totally different. But you also remember, Solomon taxed decent. He taxed his own people and taxed strangers even harder. But again, that's a whole nother conversation. He said, notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go you to the sea and cast a hook, take up the fish, and the first come up, and when you have opened his mouth, you shall find a piece of money. That give unto them for me and you. Now, this is the maker of the whole world. I don't want you to understand that now. This is the creator of the whole world. And he said, you know what? I didn't want you to know, Peter. Be free. Got to understand something, right? Where the Ruach of the Lord is, there is liberty. That's what the book tells you. There's freedom there. But the book also tell you in Galatians 5 to don't let your freedom being to use your freedom as occasion to live in the flesh. Now this man let Peter know, man. Peter don't know what you thinking about. Let me ask you a question, son. Boom, we free. But check this out. To not offend them, go down there and get that money given to me and for you. So that's the wisdom that you got. See, that's wisdom. See, we like that. Israel, I ain't doing all that. You're supposed to have wisdom. I'm a stranger here. I confess I'm a stranger in the pilgrim on the earth. So since I confess that, I say that I desire a country where my Elohim is not ashamed to be called my Elohim, and that he'll give me a hand to do this right here and do this right here. See, I'm not here to offend you with trivial things. See, I'll offend you with this gospel. I'll offend you with Kadashtis. I ain't finna offend you about no tax. I ain't finna offend you about no face mask. You know what I'm saying? See, that's where wisdom kick in, but you can't move with the wisdom because you're thinking like a 12-year-old child. You're thinking emotionally. Nigga, I don't want to wear that crap, but I'm not finna go here and offend nobody and go back and forth about this here. I got too much wisdom for that. I'm the dummy. Because the Lord has already showed me what to do. Yeah, I know I'm free. I know I ain't, it's not my home. I can't dictate what go on here. And the reason why I can't dictate it, because you didn't send me over here to dictate what go on here. See, but that's the backwards discipline that you have. That is true, young man. That is true. Absolutely. As long as their ordinances do not encroach on our faith, then it don't mean nothing to me. But see, that's not the point if the taxing is good or what they use it for. That ain't got nothing to do with us. See, that's where we get in the game twisted. Is that you want to regulate righteousness to governmental systems that were not set up for that purpose. They were not set up to serve the righteous. You have to eliminate that from your mind. They were created and formed and are run by sinners. Don't you know the book says when the wicked are and rule, the people mourn? So you're supposed to be sad. It's sinners running the earth. Whatever they take that tax money and use it for, that's their business. Why do we know this? Because the Lord told you, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's and give unto Elohim's what is Elohim's. It's their money. Let them do what they want to with it. That's none of my concern. Because you know why? It's not the government's job to take care of me. That's not their job. See, that's where the social engineering come in at. They have made you, they have replaced you're looking at your father, and they have replaced that with the government. Now you look for the government to be your father. You look for the government to provide for you. If you broke, the government need to give me a check. If I'm hungry, the government need to give me some food. The government need to raise my child. See, now you in the wrong area. That's not a job. You a grown man. You a grown man. Create and do for yourself. Don't look for them to do it for you. That's a crutch, and it's a debilitating crutch because it will lead you to a perpetual state of victimhood and looking for someone who don't give two flying Londons about you to do something for you. When the Book of Lamentations says we have looked for these people to save us, and they came. They came. You know what I'm saying? But that's indeed, Brother Tony. But see, that's social engineering. But in Yasharal, it wasn't a taxation for the government. Solomon was taxing to pay for the temple. So, okay, I follow you now. Word. Somebody probably needed to hear that. So I'm glad I misunderstood what you said. But my apologies for misunderstanding what you said. But somebody probably needed to hear that. But even in our culture, we didn't tax people. Solomon is the only, and that was just for the temple. You know what I'm saying? Then Rehoboam wanted to keep it going, listening to his homeboys. But the offerings and all the things that would be for the poor or the fatherless or the widow or the stranger, that was supposed to be given free will out of the hearts of the people. The king or the high priest didn't command consistently that the people should do that, because those systems were already in place with the offerings given to the Levites when you came to the temple or the synagogue or wherever sacrifices were made, and that these things would be distributed to the people who needed it. But it was contingent on the people having a heart to do it, not because the priest said you got to get where this at, where your this at, where this at, where they didn't do that. They didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? That was on us to do that, and we just chose not to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because we lack the mercy and compassion in the heart to do it. You don't always have to have some elaborate system set up to do what is right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just do what's right. If it's somebody hungry, then feed them. Do you know what I'm saying? If you know, like I told you before, especially in the time of the apostles, you have congregations set up, they put money to the side for those that are without. So those without could be looked out for. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody say we got to have this big old nation thing. Stuff just got to be locally. How you going to do something for people on a mass scale when you ain't even doing something for the people who right in front of you? Like, where's the logic and reason in that thought process? If you can't even look out for the person you could see, how you going to look out for a person who live on the other side of the country? But let me move on. Let me come over here, man, to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, man, before we get sidetracked. I've went on multiple tangents, and we don't get no word in here like it's in my mind that we need to drop on here this evening. But thank be to you for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I tell you that. Thank the Lord. All we can do. 2 and 4, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse. At the end of the day, everybody, everything boils down to mindset. This is why Paul told you, and Peter, let this mind be in you. Let this mind be in you. Make you a new heart, which is a new mind. Rend your heart and not your garment. It's your mindset. Your mind, that's what the Lord told you. It's not what go within a man to defile him, but what come out. Your mindset is going to dictate your actions. Where you find your mind at is where you're going to find your feet at. That's why you say wherever your treasure is, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Your mind going to be where your treasure is. So you have to change the way that you think. See, when you change the way that you think, then you change your outlook on life. See, when you look at every situation in a negative fashion, and you don't look at the situation of what you can do to overcome it, but only the negativity, you got a wrong mindset. That's a mindset of a loser. Now, how did you get that mindset of a loser? Only your life story can convey how you got that mindset. But what you have to understand is that you got to get rid of it and get you another. because you'll always look at things from. And when I say loser, meaning someone who cannot overcome, someone who can succeed. You know what I'm saying? That's what, and that's a loser's mentality, because a loser looks at adversity and difficult things and only can focus on the difficultness that is in front, or the difficulty that is in front of them. They can't look at what can I do to overcome it. They can't look at what's on the other side of the adversity. They can't turn around and look at it from any other angle other than the negativity. And that is what dictates losing. That is a cancer to an organization. You know what I'm saying? It will spread across the whole team and tear the whole team up, which is why in most jobs and or sports teams, people who think like that, they get rid of them. That's why in sports you hear we got to change the culture. We have a losing culture. And it all starts with mindset. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that as Elohim sit in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what withhold, that he might be revealed in this time. For the mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now will let until he be taken out of the way. Now, of course, if you recall in Revelation, it tells you that he has the, I'm going to say it wrong, so let me look at it. I feel like I was say that backwards. I don't want to say that backwards. That he had two horns like a lamb, but he spake like a serpent. Now come on back over here to Proverbs 6, right? Because frowardness is in his heart, right? So he has perversity in his heart. And he devises mischief, mischief here being raw or evil, continually, and he sows discord. Discord is strife and contention. It is Madon. Then it has Madon under it. Now, when you look at strife and contention, what causes strife and contention with Elohim? Isaiah 59. You know what, Darius? I'll be able to swing that around here right now. I can be able to swing this around here right now. Come over here to Isaiah 59. 59 and 1, if you would. This is where, remember, right? If he's out here saying that he's God, he has to sow some type of contention. He has to sow some type of contention, because that's what all discord is. It's somebody sowing strife and contention. That's why the book tells you, cast out the scorner and contention will cease. You get rid of the adversary, anyone who is of his offspring, and all strife and contention will stop. Because as the sons of Elohim are peacemakers. So the sons of Elohim don't seek strife and contention. So you have to sit back and look at yourself. Consistently cause strife. Contention is to be at odds. So do you consistently do things that bring strife and contention? Because at that point, and the best way to know if you do that is if you have strife and contention with everyone you come across. Because at that point, it's not them, it's you. Because you're the common denominator. There's always strife. When anyone you come across, you have a problem. And that problem is you, and you need to check. Because people who are peaceful wherever they go. If you cause drama and strife, it's going to follow you wherever you go. It's going to follow you wherever you go. If you're a peaceful person, you're going to be at peace wherever you go. So you have to look at that. Isaiah 59 and 1. Behold, Yahuwah's hand is not short that it cannot save, neither is his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your Elohim, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, your fingers with iniquity, your lips have spoken lies. Why are they done? Why are they done? They're done for one reason and one reason alone, because of the discord that the beast has sown. Remember, he got two horns like a lamb. He's appearing as a lamb, but he's speaking like a serpent. The serpent seeks to cause contention and strife. Anytime you actually see Satan on the scene, it's strife and contention. It was strife and contention in the garden because they had strife with Elohim based off the lie that he sold, that they bought. It was strife and contention dealing with David when he enticed him to number the people. It was strife and contention when he entered into the heart of Judas and went and got them 30 pieces of silver. It was strife and contention between Job and his friends, all of because Satan got a chance to run amok. So wherever he goes, he's going to, and remember, Satan just means adversary. So when you cause strife and contention, you're just an adversarial person. Now, see, let me tell y'all something. You don't, if you have opinions and you have, see, there's a difference if you have conversations with people and you have opposing views. And I say that because we live in a debate culture. You know, the Hannity and Combs First Take, you know, what's the other show, Skip Bedington show, Undisputed. That's what type of culture we live in now, the debate culture. You know, debate shows are popular. People like to watch them. But in reality, someone who calls strife and contention likes to be adversarial for the sake of being adversarial. That's the difference. If two people have differing points of views and they don't agree, that's fine. That's okay. That's not a big deal. But you have people who are just adversarial for the sake of being, they're contrarians. That's the word I'm looking for. They're a contrarian. They will want to be on the opposite side of a discussion just for the sake of being contrary. They can know that it's correct and they will refuse to go with what's right because they just want to cause contention. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of person that Hashatan, the adversary, is. He will be contrary just for the sake of being contrary. And understand that that will get you separated from your Elohim. Because remember, the beast is going to make intelligence. He will instruct the people. He is going to teach you to be a contrarian and to be proud in being contrary. When you know this law tell you that if you contrary, Yahuwah will be contrary to you. I want you to come over here to Ezekiel chapter 20. We're just going to take a look at Ezekiel chapter 20. Indeed, that is the term. Devils. Ain't that something? Let me advocate for the slanderer. Because that's what you're saying. Let me be the advocate for the slanderer. Let me be the mouthpiece for the slanderer. And this is the term of looking at, let me give the opposite side of an argument. Why would I even want to be the devil's advocate? Why would I want to advocate for the devil? How did that term come about? Nobody knows. Let's look and see the origins of that term. I ain't never thought about it till just now. So we're going to look and see what we can find. You know what's funny? We live in a society. It says the term devil's advocate was brought into the English in the 18th century from the medieval Latin expression advocatus diaboli. To describe someone as the devil's advocate now is to suggest that they are mischievous and contradictory, being contrary for the sake of it. The original devil's advocate was real person. Wowzers. It was a real person. It's just amazing. Here we go. It says, in medieval Europe, devil's advocate wasn't seen so negatively. It was like a chamberlain or a cordwainer, a job title. There are various mentions in the Vatican records dating from the early 1500s of an informal role called diaboli. It would be in the Catholic Church. Ain't that about a whore? Of Pope Sixtus. Disappointingly, there has yet been a Sixtus the Sixth. Oh my God. This was Pope Sixtus the Fifth. They were looking for Pope Sixtus the Sixth. I bet they were. And established the formal post of promoter of the faith known colloquially as the Advocatus Diaboli, which surely must have been the same role as the Diaboli Advocatus. The job description wasn't especially erroneous until someone was nominated for either beatification or canonization, at which point the devil's advocate was expected to draw up a list of arguments against the nominee becoming blessed. Think this about it. These niggas had a nigga to be the devil's advocate to speak against their false sainthoods. I'm out of here. Let's just move on. Well, that is the history of the term devil's advocate, straight from the Vatican, straight from the Catholic Church. Should have known. We should have known. Ain't that about a whore? Ezekiel chapter 20. Definitely don't want verse 18. That is going to be too much reading right there. 20 and 30. Shoot, I feel you, my G. Wow, indeed. You know what I mean? But just is what it is, man. Nigga, I wouldn't want nobody Diablo. You don't call me the devil, man. What is you talking? Don't you call me that. Don't you wish that evil on me. You know what I'm talking about? The devil, boy. And you know they made a movie about that many moons ago, and I still trip on it on the fact that the devil's son was from Jacksonville, Florida. I say, ain't that son? Of all the cities that they could make a movie for the devil's son to be from, it had to be from Jacksonville. Because, you know, when we were this, I used to ask myself, man, I say, out of all the cities, because at the end of the day, New York got 2 teams. Now LA got 2 teams. So out of 32 teams, it's really 28 cities. 28 cities have an NFL franchise. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that wasn't the case in 95. But 93, excuse me, when the team got awarded. But I asked myself, why Jacksonville, Florida? Why would they put a team in Jacksonville, Florida? Now, you know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't heard that. That's a white people term. You know what I'm saying? Black people don't talk like that in America. That's definitely a white person phrase. How the devil are you? I know that's right, show length, but yeah, that's not a norm. And I say that because every culture is different. Every culture speaks a particular type of way. Because Asian people don't talk like that. Hispanic people don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Middle Eastern people don't talk like that, but they have their own things that they say that other people don't say. But that, how the devil are you? And I've only heard white people say that in my life. Only people I've ever heard use that phrase. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all that too, man. Don't be offended because somebody say, "Oh, black people do this," and you know that they do, because every culture is different. When I say culture, I mean in group of people, because culture is rules, orders, laws, standards, structure, things of that nature, and that's just what it is, man. And that ain't nothing to be upset about. Now, I have heard a lot of people. I've definitely heard a lot of people say, "Speak of the devil." Definitely heard a lot of black people say that. Somebody walk up, "Speak of the devil." Dang, you don't call me a slanderer? That's how you feel about me. I say, man, look at that. Shoot, here, your hometown team named Blue Devils. We got a high school team here. Blue. That's why. You know what's even crazy? This particular team right here. And of course, this is San Diego. The team is named after Catholic priests because one of their original logos was a friar swinging a baseball bat. A friar is a Catholic priest. The San Diego Padres, the San Diego Fathers. That's who they named the team after. Doggone Catholic priest. You know what I'm saying? And of course I knew that. I'm like, why would they name it? Why would they do that? That's just weird. New Jersey Devils. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I'm not wearing no team. Arizona Sun Devils. Why do you niggas have teams named after devils? Who came up with that nickname? Who thought that was cool? Dunk's just weird, man. Dunk's just weird. Ezekiel 20 and 32, man. 33, actually. Dunk's just, this place is weird, man. I say place, I'm talking about the world. This world is weird. As I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fear poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries where you are scattered, and with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mizraim. So will I plead with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Now we've discussed this already, right? I just want you to see the word plead. It's shafat, and that is to judge or govern or to punish or to decide a controversy. Now you got to understand that. See, everybody looking for you to go into the wilderness like you did out of Egypt, and that's not what's happening. It's the same word for plead the second time. It's to determine or judge a controversy. Come over here to Micah. What verse do I want? Oh, 6:1 is fine. We just read this other day, but we're going to deal with it. Now, all of this is coming from what we looked at in Proverbs 15 about the thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yahuwah. I just really want you to understand how the devices of the wicked are offensive to him and why they are offensive to him. Hear now that Yahuwah saith, arise, contend you before the mountains, and let the hills hear your voice. Hear you, O mountains, Yahuwah's controversy, and you strong foundations of the earth. For Yahuwah have a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Yasharal. Say, oh, there it go. He said he got a controversy. Now remember, controversy here is Rev, Rosh, Yod, Ba. He has a dispute or a case at law, which is the same thing that Shaphat means, what you see in Ezekiel 20. He's got a controversy. Now, when he got plead here in this verse, it's Shakak, if you recall, and that is to prove, to decide, to rebuke, to convince, or to convict. Now, I want you to come over here to John chapter 13. I want you to pick this up at verse 1. Because this is this man pleading with you face to face to end the controversy. Why is there controversy? Because there's strife and contention. Why is there strife and contention? Because he that commits sin is of the devil. Well, what does the devil have power over? He has power over death. Well, why does he have power over death? Because of sin. And sin brings forth death. So therefore, I have a controversy. So I'm going to plead with you face to face to be able to remedy this controversy. Because we got contention. And since we got contention, you can't come up to me. Your hands are bloody. Your lips utter lies. And you speak perverse. My arm is not shortened that it cannot save, nor is my ear heavy that I cannot hear. But your sins have separated you from your Elohim. And your sins is the reason why Yahuwah will not hear and he will not do. Which is why he told you, that's Elohim, don't hear the prayers of sinners. Because that separates you from him. That causes a controversy. John 13:1. Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Yahushua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto Abba, having loved his own which are in the world, he loved them unto the end. Let me read that again. Having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. Notice he didn't say he loved everybody. He loved those that are his. If you're not his, he don't care nothing about you. He already told you, I don't pray for the world. I pray for them. I don't care nothing about them sinners. Pray for them for what? Remember what he told Jeremiah, don't you pray for these people, because I'm finna kill them. Pray for them if you want to. See, that sounds harsh because you're not understanding. You willfully fuck this man. And like we read the other day in Psalms 94, that this man's word don't bring delight and comforts to your mind. He ain't fooling with you. So let me tell you something, man. You don't have to be a scriptural expert. You don't have to be able to slice and dice the text for this man to love you. You don't have to do all that for that man to look at you like he looked at Daniel and said, oh man, greatly beloved. All you got to do is trust him with your whole mind, heart, and soul and delight in the things that pleases him. That's all you got to do. Stop beating yourself up about you're not some scriptural expert, that you don't know this and you can't recall this and you can't recall that. That may not be your vocation. That's none of your business. Don't worry about that. Do you love him though? Do you trust him? Do you like to do the things that make him happy? He ain't going to look at you no different than somebody he gave that ability to. He's going to look at you the same. Because there's going to be people out here who done taught a lot of people who going to go to hell. And it's going to be some of you that can't teach nan every person outside your household. I'm talking to the men. Can't teach nobody out your household. Nothing in depth like the dude around the corner can do it. But you can get them part of them enough to where they trust Yahuwah and they serve him, and y'all gonna walk through them gates. So don't be worried about that, because I know a lot of bruisers in this time period, they get caught up with that. I want to be able to do this. And don't worry about doing all that. Do you believe the man? Do you love the man? Do you trust the man? And do you have hope in the man? That's all you need to be worried about. That's all you need. Well, praise Elohim. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need no more than that. I promise you don't. Because at the end of the day, the ability to go through the text is a gift that he gives to an individual because he's tasked them with a duty. You know what I'm saying? He's just giving them a job to do. But he ain't gonna look at the person he gave a job to do no greater than the person who loved him and served him. He ain't gonna look at him no different. He ain't gonna look at him no different. It's a lot of these. Now, most of y'all don't know all these rules. Some of y'all do. A lot of them niggas gonna go to hell, and they know a little bit of book too, but they don't love. But they don't love it. They don't trust him. They don't have no hope in it. That's all you need. At the end of the day, that's all you need. A little bit of faith take you a long way. A little bit of faith take you a long way. Now imagine what a lot of faith would do. A little bit of faith. That man said if you got faith as a mustard seed, a little bit of faith take you a long way. So imagine what a lot will do. That's all you need, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't even think I'll keep reading those. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. See right there, a contrarian. Don't be a contrarian. Yahusha, knowing that Abba had given all things into his hand and that he was come from Elohim and went to Elohim. See, that's the thing you got to know. See, when you come from Elohim, you know you're going back to him. So you ain't worried about none of this stuff these people got going on. Well, why would he know he come from Elohim? Because he know his father's commandment is life everlasting. He said, I know from whence I come and where I go. That's what he told you about that. He said, the Ruach go where it listed. Come on around here to John 3 just on the string. I ain't got no more in John 13. I just be reading it just to read it. I don't want to do all that. That don't make no sense. 3 and 5 though. Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. Just love Yahuwah, man. Have your whole mind, heart, and soul locked in with him. Everything else take care of itself. Yeah, because all you need is the Ruach. You ain't got to be no teacher of the word to get no Ruach. Don't let nobody tell you that lie. You don't need but one thing to get that. That's just faith and obedience. That's all you need. Faith and obedience, one and the same, as far as I'm concerned. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need, man. You got that, you're doing better than most. I tell you that. I tell you that. Praise Elohim, man. You know, everything gets smooth. That's right. That's right, man. That's all you need, man. Your faith will get you through a lot of adversity, man, and allow you to look tribulation and affliction and adversity in the face and say, well, let Yahuwah's will be accomplished. But I'm going to keep on delighting in my Elohim. Let that be known. Let that be known. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this here, Sean, not the specifics, but I told you the other day. But nigga don't want to serve Yahuwah. Shoot, that's on them. That's your law, not mine. That don't mean my soul might not be sad. That don't mean my soul ain't gonna be sad for you. That don't mean I'm gonna delight in your destruction. That don't mean that's what it means. But shoot, nigga, that's on you. You know what I'm talking about? If you judge yourself unworthy of everlasting life, shoot, I don't know what to tell you. But clearly, I have to leave you behind. I don't want to leave you. I want you to come with me. But clearly, you ain't decided that this is where you want to go. And I can't miss the ride because you don't want to go. See, some of y'all done missed going places because you were worrying about waiting for the next nigga to come on so you could go. You know what I'm saying? Then you both of y'all in and out going. Sometimes you got to let shoot. I'm going to go ahead and lead you to the house. Because the ride coming, the bus on the way. I wait for you. Another bus ain't coming. I still got to do this here. Oh, see, you ain't want to go nowhere. Because if you want to go, you'd be ready. But you knew what time the bus was going to be here. You playing games. I'm going to the bus stop. You can do what you want to do. Clearly, you this ain't where you want to go. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? You can't love somebody than the loving God. You can't do it. It's impossible. It can't happen. They just got to see you loving him. Absolutely, Dad. When he plead with us, people die. When that man plead with us, people die. And on that day, Satan died. We get into it. John chapter 3. That's right. Dad ain't told you no lie. When Yahuwah plead, somebody died. When Yahuwah plead, somebody died. Oh, you thinking he gonna go in the wilderness? He gonna straighten everything out? Well, you going that way, nigga? You dying. Somebody ain't coming out alive. He coming out alive. You not coming out. That's just like tomorrow. Somebody they walk you in that house. Well, you know you ain't coming up out of here, boy. Not conscious anyway. You coming out in the body bag. Yahushua answered, truly, truly, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and of the Ruach, he cannot enter into the kingdom of Elohim. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Ruach is Ruach. Marvel not that I said unto you, you must be born again. The wind blow where it lists, and you hear the sound thereof, but cannot tell where it comes and where it goes. So is everyone that is born of the Ruach. See, when you're born of Elohim, they don't know where you come from or where you're going. See, you know your Elohim, so you know you come from Elohim and you know you're going back. Praise the Lord. Ain't that beautiful? But let's look at that final judgment. Come on around here to John 16, if you would. I thank the Lord. Yeah, man. 16 and 5. John 16 and 5. Because if you take it, if you want to take it to being current, says Brother Dad put it that way, that man taking you out into the wilderness and pleading with you face to face is taking you to the valley of Jehoshaphat and slaying you right there where you lay. Taking you right on out there if you want to make it current. Ain't that where he said he'd take the people at? Ain't the valley of Jehoshaphat the valley of Himnon? Ain't that the wilderness? Let's look and see if that's the wilderness. Hold on now. Let's see if the valley of Himnon is considered wilderness. Let's see. I gotta spell it. I can't even remember how to spell it. Coming to my mind off the top. I know it's one in Joshua. I'm finna have to go around. Come on around here to Joshua chapter 3. That'd be Joshua chapter 3. Not. I'd rather use it in Himnon. Versus Jehoshaphat, even though it's all the same. Come over here to Jeremiah chapter 19. I'm finna read something else to y'all, but I'm gonna pass on that present time in doing so. Deal with it later. Jeremiah 19. Let's say if you who go and get a potter's earthen bottle. Take of the ancients of the people and the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell you. And here say, hear you the word of Yahuwah, O Maliks of Yehuda, inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharal, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, the which whosoever hear his ears shall tingle. Because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom they nor their fathers have known, nor the Maliks of Yehuda, and have filled this place with the blood of innocence. They have built also the high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Himnon, but the valley of slaughter. and I will make void the counsel of Yehuda and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives, and their carcasses will I give to meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth, and I will make the city desolate and a hissing. Everyone that passed there shall be astonished and hissed because of the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. They shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straightness wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. Then you shall break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with you, and shall say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, even so will I break this people, this city, as one break a potter's vessel that cannot be made whole again, and they shall bury them in Tophet till there be no place to bury. Thus will I do unto this place, saith Yahuwah, unto the inhabitants thereof, and even make this city as Tophet. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the Maliks of Yehuda shall be defiled as the place of Tophet, because of all the houses upon whose roofs they have burned incense unto all the host of heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto other gods. See, he gonna pay you that. That's a place of slaughter. That's a place of slaughter. Now, remember, if y'all don't recall, Tophet means the place of fire. That's what it means. Tau, pay, and tau, if you would. The place of fire. Valley of Himnom, get you Himnom, and that means lamentation, a place of weeping. It's the weeping place of fire. You know, Himnom is what it was called, I believe, when the Jebusites had it. It is a valley southwest of Jerusalem, separates Mount Zion to the north from the hill of evil counsel and the sloping rock plateau of the plain of Rephaim to the south. This way he say he gonna pull you out now and plead with you face to face now. So I don't think that's what these boys are looking for. Same doggone city now, Tophet and Himnom, Valley of Jehoshaphat. Come over here to Joel chapter 3, and let's look at what the Valley of Jehoshaphat is. So you can see this all the same place. If you want to look at him pleading with your face to face, you think he's pulling you out there to talk to you about, let me teach you this word. Let me straighten out all y'all contentions. No, you going to hell, nigga. That's where you're going. That is where you're going. And of course, you know, the Valley of Jehoshaphat is a valley near Jerusalem, which is the place of the ultimate judgment. Maybe the deep ravine which separates Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives, through which Kidron flowed. No, you're going to hell, son. You want him to plead with you. He say he got a controversy. There's strife and contention. Since the thought's always wicked, let the man come through. He got to handle that. Ain't that funny that these niggas tell you ain't no lake of fire and the valley literally mean a place of fire and the lamentation, and he told you that everybody that would see you will walk past you and abhor you because you be in the place where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched. There'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth because you're going to be in that crying in the place of fire. See, these people be playing game, book tell you what it is, but they just don't believe it. Now, I'm not telling you that to be like, oh, he didn't tell me that we going to hell. But you going to hell because I ain't told you you were going nowhere. I just told you that's what he taking the people that to plead with him face to face, as Brother Dad stated. If he pleading with you, somebody dying. Somebody dying. You know what I'm talking about? So if he pleading with you, and he done already told you that he's taking you to the place of Armageddon, which is a location, not a war. It is a location, which is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Valley of Himnom, which is the Valley of Tophet, which is the lake of fire. Somebody dying. We're reading Revelation again. Matter of fact, let's just read about Armageddon right now, right here, and doggone Revelation 16 and 15. Matter of fact, pick it up in verse 13. Matter of fact, don't make it 10. Because these people stupid anyway. I'm talking about the people who being described in the text, not y'all. Or anybody who might catch it later. I'm talking about the people described in the text. They stupid anyway. But they don't want to listen. That's why they stupid. Now, the valley is Armageddon is the hill or the city of Megiddo. Y'all remember that city, Megiddo. We couldn't talk about Megiddo before. 16 and 10, and the fifth Malachim poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the Elohim and Shamahim because of their pains, their sores, and repented not of their deeds. The sixth Malachim poured out his, all this is the same as the hardening, like he hardened. And the sixth Malachim poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates. The water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. I saw three unclean ruachs like frogs come out of the mouth of the serpent, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. They are ruachs of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of Elohim Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Baruch is he that watch and keep his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. See, we just talked about that a couple weeks ago. He gathered them together into the place called in the Abarim tongue Armageddon. That's a place now. People talk about that battle arm. It's not a war. It is a war, but it's a war being held in the valley of Megiddo. The valley of Megiddo. That's where that's being held at. Don't let nobody sit back and tell you and describe that as just, oh, this is Armageddon. Baby, Armageddon is a location, baby. That was one of them kings that Yahushua son of Nun got hold of. One of them Megiddo boys. But we're going to leave that where it's at. We ain't going to delve off in the Megiddo. We'll come back around another day dealing with it. But that's a location. That's a location. Back to Proverbs chapter 6. I told you, man, understanding is plain to those that have it. The book is very simple. It's not that complex. You know what I'm saying? It's not that complex. And again, don't kick yourself for what you don't know. That's the purpose of the Kadash convocation. That's the purpose of it. Like you have some people, they'll poo-poo and shoo-shoo. Oh, we doing this. Some people, they just got up on the Sabbath. Stupid nigga, that's what he commanded you to do. To come get this word. So you got 24 hours that all you got to worry about is praising and learning about him. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. I done seen niggas, why niggas got service on now. Like we got service on Wednesday because the people asked for it. They asked for it about 4 years ago. They asked for it. You know what I'm saying? But truth be told, the apostles them had service every day. Truth be told, in the time of Mashiach, the people were in the synagogues every day. Every day. Sanctimonious ignoramuses all the way around the board. They came and got that work every day. See, this is the difference. These niggas don't want that work every day. You don't delight in knowing the man and learning about somebody so that you can conform to them. Because that's the purpose of getting the word, to learn about him. How can somebody look at themselves and say that you can learn too much about Yahuwah? How that even sound? That don't even make common sense. Oh, you learn too much about Yahushua. Nigga, what? That sounds retarded. I was just going to say that if it was feasible for me to do so, I'd do it every day. Every day. Straight up and down. And I done been there and done it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like every day. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? You come get this word. The shop don't close. We don't never shut. The trap always open. You think close the synagogues and the temple in the city? You think the apostles just stopped preaching? Oh, we ain't preaching today. Oh, they can't get to work today. Ignorant bastards. You know what I'm saying? Wrong mindset. Because at the end of the day, these people don't know their God. So they need more word. They need as much word as they can get. It's all as they can get it. Proverbs chapter 6, man. We already talked about that. For his calamity shall come sudden, and he shall be broken without remedy. Looking at him being broken without remedy. Remember, that's Mark 8. No healing. No cure. Remember, it told you that. Well, I didn't read the whole verse out in 2 Thessalonians. Daniel tell you the same. Said he'll be broken by Mashiach without hand. I didn't read Revelation 19, but you know that he coming in righteousness to judge and to make war. He coming to plead. And he pleading with you right there in the valley of Tophet, valley of Megiddo. Come on through, baby. You want to come around here to him now? They crying at him now. You come to him now, man. They dropping tears around here. Come on, man. 6 and 16. Proverbs. These 6 things do you who hate, 7 are abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imaginations, and feet that be swift and running to mischief. That's why the thoughts of the wicked are abomination to them, because they always devise wicked thoughts, and they always running to mischief, to folly. By the Proverbs 15. We spent enough time on that. We had to do it. We couldn't just go around that. But see, this is the best part of it. But the words of the pure are pleasant words. Now, of course, you should know pure is tehor, right? You're clean. Tet, hey, bu, raj. So you know that you've contained the man with raised arms. So Yahusha is contained in you, and you've been secured to the Father. Now, why is that important? Let me share with y'all. I'm over here to Psalms 119. I'll share with you both. Psalms 119, I'll say verse 93. Make it 89. Psalms 119 and 89. Y'all willing, one day we'll go through Psalms 119 with a discriminatory comb. Did it once, many, many years ago, for those who were there at the time. But I haven't done it in this capacity. Now, Psalms 119 and 189 is set in Lamad, which is set for which is a character for teaching. The reason why I say I want to do it in that spot, because each character is broke down and we can kill like 3 birds with 1 stone. You can see each character, you can learn how to spell each character, and then how each division of verses to those characters relate to the character that it's divided to. Say, now I'll give you an example of that. We'll just look at Lamad and you can see that, because it's 7 verses attached to Lamad. So again, Lamad means teach, shepherd, discipline. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. The first thing is the first verse. It tells you, "Forever, O Yahuwah, your word is settled in Shamahim." Now remember, pleasant. The words of the pure are pleasant words to him. The first verse for Lamad, which is to teach. To teach, you're gonna have to teach that word. It tells you that his word is settled in heaven. I want you to look at settled. That is nasab, a word that you should be familiar. That means it takes its stand, it stands upright. It's appointed, it's stationed, it's in an upright position, it's fixed and established. Noon, Sod, Ba. The way of the sun is everlasting life. So when he tells you that forever, O Yahuwah, your word is settled in heaven, the sun is the way because he's been fixed. How has he been fixed? Y'all know what we're going to get, but we're going to read it anyway. Revelation chapter 22. Is it 22 that I don't think 22 is what I need. Let me make sure that 22 is what I need, because I think I need 19. I do need chapter 19. That is my apology. I want you to come over here to 19 and 7. I'm going to read verses 7, 8, and 9 just on the strength before I get to the other point that we're going to make. Now, all this is still going to tie into that. The words of the pure, they're pleasant. They're pleasant. They're pleasing to him. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, and the marriage of the Lamb is come. A wife has made herself ready, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for fine linen is the righteousness of saints. He said unto him, right, Baruch are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, these are the true sayings of Elohim. I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see, you do it not. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Elohim, for the testimony of Yahushua is the breath, the ruah of prophecy. It's the life of every prophecy in the book to testify of the Son. Now remember, the words of the pure are pleasant words. Now remember, we read in John chapter 3, he don't give the measure of the Ruach to anybody. See, come back to John chapter 3 to refresh your mind. And then we go to Isaiah 50. I don't even need to go to Isaiah 53. We can get it in John 12. We can stay on the back end of the text. We ain't got to do that. John chapter 3. We just coming here for a quick moment. 3 and 31. After that, John chapter 12. Because remember, if his word is fixed and settled in heaven, the Lamb is slain from the foundation of the world. So the teaching of everlasting life has been set from the foundation of the world. That's why it's fixed and established in heaven and earth as it is in heaven. It was already settled in heaven that you ought to walk after the Lamb. The gospel was already preached in heaven. For those of you who've been here for a minute, y'all already know the heavens declare the gospel. No, the heavens declare it. It's already been declared. Let's keep rolling. John chapter 3, verse 31. He that comes from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthy. And speak of the earth. He that comes from Shamahim is above all. And what he have seen and heard, that he testified, and no man have received his testimony. He that received his testimony have set to his seal that Elohim is true. He whom Elohim have sent, speak the words of Elohim. For Elohim give not the Ruach by measure unto him. I tell you what Psalms 119 and 89 talking about, though it not. His word was fixed in heaven. All the Son coming to do is to testify what he seen and what he heard. That's all he doing. And he the one who Elohim sent, and he don't do nothing but speak the words of Elohim. But I'm going to finish it out. The Father loved the Son and give all things into his hand. He that believe on the Son have everlasting life. He that believe not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of Elohim abide on him. There is no in between. Indeed. Indeed. Praise Elohim. Praise the Lord. Give thanks to the Father in the name of Yahushua, night unto night. It teach now that what Psalm 19 tell you. There's no place under heaven where they voice is not heard. Play with it. These niggas playing games. Oh, they skirt gonna get pulled up and their nakedness is going to appear. Their garments ain't white and they ain't kept. But God forbid that be the case for any of you. You keep your garments white and you keep your garments on. Don't let your shame appear. Let your shame be covered. Notice the difference. If you never paid attention to it when I told you this before. See, Adam and Eve went to try to make their own covering for their shame. No, ma'am. No, sir. You can't cover up your own sin. He took that fig leaf up off of them. Let me show you, sew you a coat of skin. Because the only way your shame going to be covered up is if Yahuwah covered. You can't cover your own shame. See, that's what we try to do. Try to cover our own shame. You can't redeem yourself. You can't forgive your sins, boy. He ain't got to do that. Come on around here to John chapter 12. They don't hear the word, though. They just do what they want to do. I say let them burn where they going to burn. John 12 and 37, just let them burn where they going to burn. Matter of fact, just make that John 12 and 35. Sometimes you just have to realize that, man, it's not all of you. You got to let them burn where they going to burn. These niggas around here talking about reparations, this and this, that, and the third, and you're going to rep your boy straight to hell. That's what you're going to rep. You're going to get a part, you're going to get some reparations. You're going to get a portion of the lake of fire. That's what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're going to get. You better rep Elohim by way of Yahushua. You get your son better than reparation. These niggas around here looking for white folks to give them fiat currency. How stupid is you? And this man got gold put in a fire that you might be with. You big dummy. Better get that everlasting money. You big dummy. You worry about the stuff under this heaven and this earth. You don't want the new heaven and new earth. You big dummy. Because if you don't believe the promises of Elohim, that's what you is, a big dummy. Gordito dummy. That's what you is. John 12 and 35. Then Yahushua said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while you have light, lest darkness come upon you. But he that walketh in darkness know not where he go. And while you have light, believe in the light, that you may be the sons of light. These things spake Yahushua and departed, and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which spake, who have believed our report, and to whom have the arm of Yahuwah been revealed. Therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again, he have blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with the heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Isaiah when he saw his esteem, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers, many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees, they did not confess it, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. They love the praise of men, yes, sir, more than the praise of Elohim. Let me finish that John 16, because I ain't knocked that out. Because look at where he pled, and this is where he sat back and he judged. John 16:5. That's my bad, y'all. But praise Elohim, we back on track. We still got Psalms 119 on deck. Now you see that, right? Now we gonna come back to Psalms 119, right? Because we still talking about how the words of the pure be pleasant words. Understand? Let me get that word for pleasant for you before I slip out my mind. But we ain't even got that word. What we named the video after, because Yahuwah willing, we gonna deal with that on the Shabbat, on the day portion. But pleasant words is noam, noon, ayin, mean. This is kindness. They pleasant. They delightful. You understand? That's also the name of one of the staves in Zechariah, right? That we were reading about. Beauty. So if you got ayin, you know that you know or you have experienced the ruach of life. That's why it's pleasant. Well, you can only know and experience, does see that these the words of the pure are pleasant words. You can only understand that when you understand that gospel. Now, words is a mark, which is your speech or saying, but most importantly, promise. Remember, that's Aleph, Beam, and Raj. Promise. You understand? That's what that is. So when we look at it in that regard, the pure, the words, it don't even have word there, excuse me. It's just pure, pleasant words, or tahor noam emar, or pure, kind, delightful promise. That's what it says. A pure, delightful promise. You understand? I want y'all to understand that's what it says. Pure, but a pure, delightful promise. That's what he got on the backside. You understand? A clean promise. John 16:5. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you ask me, where go you? But because I've said these things, you have sorrow, have filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. If I depart, I will send him to you, unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin, of righteousness, and of judgment. Now, if he done reproved it, that means he done pled with it, he done convicted it. Listen what he said, of sin, because they believe not on me. This world is judged. And after that, he bring you into the bond of the covenant. He done pled with you. We could, come on, man. So we look at it twofold. He pled with you face to face because he convicted the controversy or the quarrel that you had by dying and sending the ruach. Convicted. Controversy is extinguished. Or he can plead with you face to face because he's gonna bring you to the valley of Tophet, the valley of Himnon, the valley of Megiddo, aka the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's gonna plead with you there. He's gonna judge you, he's gonna convict you, he's gonna put that controversy and quarrel to rest. Because your wicked behind said you was God, and you got a whole bunch of wicked, no good bastards following behind you. So I got to get y'all from out of here. He said he gonna purge out them rebels. Play with it. And when he come back around here, he gonna slay you wicked, no good, unbelieving bastards. But give thanks to Elohim that he's given us an opportunity to be persuaded of better things of that. So the things that accompany salvation, of that of which we extol, exhort, and converse on. Psalms 119 and 90. Psalm 119 and 90. See, I thank the Lord that we get some understanding. We can take this stuff and link it. Now, remember, all this stuff dealing with Lamar, which is to teach. You preach the gospel, you got to teach. Now we in verse 90. Your faithfulness is unto all generations. You have established the earth and it abides. Now let's look at faithfulness now, because look at what that word is. Y'all know that's Amuna. Under all, that's just double generations, because that's door, that's period, a period of a generation. So the faithfulness of Elohim endures to all generations. Swing to Hebrews 11 and 33. Now, you know, kun is for established, and it abides, abide is amar. That means it stands. Matter of fact, pause. Before we go to Hebrews 11, swing to Matthew chapter 5. I pick it up at verse 14 on general principle. I really want about verse 19 or 17, one of the two, but I'm going to read verse 14 anyway. I might back it up to 13 since we're over there. I figured out when I look at what I'm looking at, I pick it at 13 because I want 17. It's okay. I'm going to read all of it. Ain't going to hurt nobody. It's the Shabbat. You ain't got nothing to do no. So thank the Lord. Matthew 5 and 13. You're the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and be trodden under the foot of men. Oh, you ain't got no savor. What you good for? If that sacrifice ain't got no salt in it, you ain't good for nothing. Gonna throw you out. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Who will enter into the Kadash hill of Elohim? You can't hide Mount Zion. What did Yahushua brothers tell him? They say, you know, you're supposed to do this stuff in the open. You a son of Elohim, a daughter of Elohim. That can't be hid. Let that be known. And you can let that be known without opening your mouth. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that it give light unto all that are in the house. So let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and esteem your Abba, which is in Shamahim. Think not that I come to destroy Torah or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But truly I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from Torah till all be fulfilled. See, this faithfulness is from generation to generation. See, we look at it. And see them Christians. See, you got to keep that law. One jot or one tittle ain't gonna pass. Yeah, you right too. But you missing the point. That faithfulness is from generation to generation. He's established the earth and it stands. So that promise gonna stand. That's why the words are the pure, they pleasant words, a pure, clean promise. Because that's what they're talking about. You can't even sit back and see the Psalms 89, 119, 89, and 90 telling you the promise. Now, Brother Saran already mentioned Psalm 19. Now watch how we finna double back to Psalm 19 and make it do what it do about these pleasant words. But before we do that, I say before we do that, I need you to come to Hebrew chapter 11. I need you to come to Hebrew chapter 11 with me. I need you to come around here to about verse 32. We're going to make it do what it do. Hebrews 11 and 32. What more shall I say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon. Y'all know about Gideon, right? Barak. You can find Gideon in the book of Judges. You can find Barak in the book of Judges. And of Samson, you can find him in the book of Judges. And of Jephthah, you can find him in the book of Judges. Of David and Samuel and other prophets. Well, of course, you can find David and Samuel and Chronicles and Kings. Now, is it interesting that the writer of this epistle led off with everybody who was of note who's from the book of Judges? What is the significance, everyone, of the book of Judges? What is the number one key significance of the book of Judges? Specifically, letting you know, because he's talking about Gideon, Barak, and Samson. Who can tell me what is the significance of the book of Judges? Tell me the significance of the book of Judges. I'm desirous to see what you got for me. That's a good answer. Not the answer I was looking for, but that was a good answer. That was a very, very good answer. That is correct, sir. That's correct, Lil John. The people who delivered Yasharal from their enemies, aka saviors. That's another good answer, young man. That is another good answer right there. How he rewards the faithful. That cannot be disputed. Good answers all the way around the board, young man. Good answers all the way around the board. That is correct. Chosen men as well. And that is a very good answer as well. Very good answer. Gideon definitely was chosen. Rock definitely was chosen. Samson was chosen before he was even in the womb. Jephthah was chosen because he was rejected, to consider to be a base man. And David needs no introduction. And Samuel needs no introduction. Come on back over here. Very good answers all the way around the board, everyone. Verse 33. He say, who through faith subdued kingdoms, they work righteousness, obtained promises, and stopped the mouth of lions. Quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens, the same thing the Lord will do. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. Others had a trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, they were tempted and were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute and afflicted and tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and dens and in caves of the earth. And all these, all having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. Elohim providing some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect, because his faithfulness is unto every generation. That faithfulness was from the generation of Adam to the generation that we presently in. If you got a baby in your womb, praise be to Elohim, because that baby coming out of that womb is another example of the faithfulness of Elohim to every single solitary generation from the history of man, from the day that he formed Adam out of the dust. That child is an example that Yahuwah is faithful, that his promise abides, and that Yahusha is the Redeemer and the Savior of men. See, I want you to look at certain things that happen in life and look at them for the wondrous works of Elohim that they are, and they bear witness to his righteousness. Every child you have bear witness that his faithfulness is unto men. You know why? Because you serve Elohim. So since you serve Elohim, that's what your child get to learn. Praise the Lord. See, we don't even look at it like that because we're stubborn and we're selfish and we're proud, and we can't even sit back and realize this man showed you just from you producing a child, because this man planted seed in fertile ground, and that fertile ground was able to bring that seed to maturity and expel the fruit thereof. That is the faithfulness of Elohim, because now that child will learn of Elohim and do it for the generation that he's in, and then therefore the generation that comes after him, because Yahuwah word will not fail. We already read it's been established in heaven. It's going to do what it's going to do. Psalms 119 and 91. Are all your servants. Now, of course, you know, we got to mod one more time. So that is also means continued. Of course, you know that. Now, ordinances, mishpat, they continue according to your judgment, to your ordinance. And of course, you know the word for servant, Psalms 19. Psalms 19 and 1. Heavens, everything go according to his judgment, what he decreed for it to do. The heavens declare, this is Psalm 19 and 1. The heavens declare the esteem of Elohim. The firmament show his handiwork. So we done went over this before. It's been a couple months, but we done it. Day unto day utter speech, night unto night show knowledge. There's no speech nor language where the voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, their words to the end of the world. in them he hath set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoice as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. That thing just sat back and told you how the Lord is going to come. He done set a tabernacle for the sun, and as the bridegroom coming out of his chamber, he going to rejoice as a strong man running a race to go get his wife. See, come over here to James chapter 5 so you can see how this man delighted to come get his wife. See, one thing for certain, two things for sure. See, in those times back then, it's a little different now. It was a time period, it may not necessarily be an extra long time period. But of course, y'all know the marriages were arranged. And the man would sit back and there'd be a tear. And the best example is that is say with Jacob, of how delighted he was when it was time for him to receive Rachel, because Hagar with much patience to receive what was his. He already knew this his wife. He done made an agreement. I'm doing this here for the payment, for the dowry, and I done held with much patience for my wife. I'm waiting for, because that's the wife of his youth. It delights his heart. See, what a lot of things get messed up in this particular time. See, you done had the ma'ams. You got her doing stuff she really shouldn't be doing. So you don't have that anticipation and delight because you haven't even fostered an actual love in your heart for this woman. You just want to fulfill your physical, you just want your physical gratification. And you want her to come through the house and, cook for me, clean for me, and all that other type of stuff. But you haven't developed an affinity in your soul for this person. You know what I'm saying? I was just listening to a brother talking about this. Now, this is more so of women who are out here in the world to a certain degree. But he was like this here, dude asked the dude, he said, would you rather spend time with your homeboys or with your woman? Dude say, with my woman. Another dude say they going to want to be around you and you going to want to be around them, and your time with them will be delightful. See, if they don't respect you, and that doesn't matter just about no woman now. If they don't respect you, you ain't going to enjoy spending time with people who don't respect you. Dang, things reconnecting. Man, get a second. You ain't gonna delight spending time with people who don't respect you. He gave a point. He said, if you deal with a woman and the only time she want to spend time with you is when you taking her to put some food in her mouth, or you got to take her somewhere, and she ain't enjoy spending time with you, watching TV, doing nothing, that woman don't fool with you. If you got to spend some money on her, she don't fool with you. You know what I'm saying? See, dudes had to sit back and look at that. So when you turn around and you look at the land with his woman, you look at Jacob with his woman, they had an affinity in their heart and their mind for this person that transcended physical gratification. You know what I'm saying? We already know the Lord ain't got no physical gratification towards Yasharal. There's no physical gratification he can get from us. This is different. This is in the heart. This is in the spirit. This is in the soul. That's why it's a delight. That's why he's running so fast. Let me get my wife. So when you begin to understand that, then you begin to understand his love and the patience. Because that's one of the things that Jacob's story, where Rachel was supposed to show, he worked for her 14 years. And it was to show you the patience. The patience to labor for the reward, because you knew that the promise would be given unto you at the appointed time. It's not just about a man working 14 years for a wife. It's not what that's about. That's laboring for the promise and the delight that one has once the promise has been given to them. That's another conversation for another day. The Epistle of James, chapter 5, verse 7. Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandmen wait for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be you also patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draw near. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest you be condemned. Behold, the judge stand at the door, before the door, Take my brethren, the prophets who have spoken in the name of Yahuwah, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them blessed which endure. You have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of Yahuwah, and that Yahuwah is very pitiful and of tender mercy. That's the part we're supposed to understand. When you wait, you seen the patience Job had. You seen what he got in the end. He got more than what he started with. He got more than what he started with. Come on back over here to Psalms 119. Let's pick this up at verse 92. This is what he told you. Unless your Torah had been my delights, I should have perished in my affliction. I should have perished. Now, of course, lula is the word here for unless, and it means exactly that. And you have lamad, lamad, and olive. So you can see how the shepherd secures a teaching of strength. But let's move on. Now, my delights, shashua, delight, enjoyment. Now think on this. Shan, ayin, shan, ayin. Oh, what? Probably an olive for this at this particular junction. Now look at that, right? You got two shans here. You got two ayins. And what have you consumed? Well, let's sit back and look at all the things that ayin can be, because we can't just go experience and new in this regard. We can't do it in that regard. That's just not going to work for us here. I want to say converging the thoughts, but I'm thinking about something else, so I might be incorrect. So let me check myself of what's going through my mind is correct, but converging the soul and not the thoughts. So we can sit back and see what is being consumed because you take delight. Flesh is being consumed. Therefore, there's a converging or a fellowship in the soul, which will lead you to be secured or paired to the securing, if you will, to the word of that spirit or of that strength or of the Father or of the head. He said, I would have perished in my affliction. Now, of course, you know, that's perished is a bod, and that is to be destroyed or to be killed or to be exterminated. Affliction, of course, is one, and that is poverty, misery, affliction. But now let's turn around and look. Unless he had delighted in the word, he would have perished. Well, because we just talked about this recently, so there's really no need to go all the way back through it. And I've already mentioned this. You know that John chapter 12, man say, every word that my Father given me is life everlasting. I know his commandments are life everlasting. You know that he said it's the ruach that quicken, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. Now come over here to John 11, I believe. I mentioned it earlier. Let's look at it now. Yeah, I'm in the right spot. John 11:38. Yahushua therefore again groaning in himself come to the grave. It was a cave and a stone lay upon it. Yahushua said, take you away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stink. He'd been dead 4 days. Yahushua said unto her, said not I unto you that if you would believe that you should see the steam of Elohim? They took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Abba, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you hear me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that you have sent me. Now, you know he hear him always. He says in another, like I mentioned earlier, said in another place that he that he knows that he does those things that always pleases him. Because this is why you get heard. See, our biggest problem in life is that we don't seek to please the people that we ought to seek to please. You know what I'm saying? Come over here to John chapter 8. Come over here to John chapter 8, verse 26 or 25. And the reason why I say that is we seek to please the wrong people. See, we seek to please the people who care nothing for you, who seek your destruction and your ruin, and who will add no increase. And when I say increase, I'm talking about increase in spirit, increase in knowledge, increase in wisdom, increase in, and it doesn't have to just always be on things with the word, no increase of anything of profit whatsoever. And these are the people who you care and chase the most. That'd be our problem. Because the people who actually care about you and who are actually going to give you the things that are beneficial to you, you don't care about them. You don't care about pleasing them. You don't care about what they think. You don't care about any of that. And see, that's psychological conditioning. You know what I'm saying? A psychological condition to being backwards. But that is also another conversation for another day. John 8:25. They said unto him, who are you? Yahushua said unto them, even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. I have many things to say and judge of you, but he that sent me not, that he spake to them of Abba. Then said Yahushua unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, you shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself. But as my Abba hath taught me, I speak these things. He that sent me is with me. The Father have not left me alone, for I do always the things that please him. See, this is how Elohim will never leave you alone. Hebrews 13 for that matter. See, a lot of people sit back, and like I told you, man, they think the man rolling with him, man, ain't fooling with you because you're not looking to do those things that please him. If you always do the things that please him, that man will always be there with you. He won't leave you alone. Why would he? He'd be going against himself at this point. Why would he do that? Hebrews 13:1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained Malachim unawares. Take you back to Samson's. Samson daddy wouldn't have been like, hey, check this out. He wouldn't even know that he was dealing with an angel. Same was Lot. Remember them that are in bonds is bound with them, and then with suffered adversity as being yourselves also in the body. Marriage is honorable all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers Elohim will judge. Let your conduct be without covetousness, content with such things as you have, for he said, I will never leave you, nor forsake you, so that we may boldly say, Yahuwah is my helper, I will not fear what men shall do unto me. Remember them which have rule over you, which have spoken unto you the word of Elohim, who stay following, considering the end of their conduct, Yahushua HaMashiach the same yesterday, today, and forever. Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. This is what the man told you. Number one, he said, don't let your heart be filled with covetousness, which is idolatry, and be content with what you have, that you may know that he will never leave you and forsake you. Or why would he leave you if you're rolling with him? Remember, Yahushua did not perish in his affliction. Remember what he said. I know you won't suffer your Kadash want to see corruption. My flesh rests in hope. Remember, the words of the pleasant are pure words, or pure, clean, delightful promise. The man has made you a pure and a joyous promise. That promise is clean. Ain't no sin in it. Let's keep on rolling. Listen what he said in verse 93. I will never forget your precepts, for with them you have quickened me. Now, of course, never is olam, and you know that means long duration, or basically perpetual, or everlasting, or basically forever. Forget is shakak, and that is also to forget or to ignore. I will not ignore what you have said. But let's look at quicken, which you know is kayah, which is to have life, kat, yad, and hey. Go ahead, behold this work and get separated. Go ahead, let them words work them words so you can be separated unto life. See, come over here to John chapter 5 just to hear what the Lord got to say about being made alive. That's why I told you to lay up that word in your heart. That's why I said I've hid your words in your heart that I might not sin against you. If you don't ignore his word, that word will make you alive. A lot of people ain't made alive because they ignore it. They ignore them pleasant words, like we read in John 12. Who have believed your report? Who have believed your report? They ain't believed what you had to say. They ain't believed it. They want to talk about who the best Israelites. Ain't that what they like to do? That's what they like to do. John chapter 5, man, verse 20. Meanwhile, Niggas dying out here on these streets. And they ain't dying because they getting shot. They ain't dying from no COVID. They ain't dying from no diabetes. They dying from unbelief while they still breathing. For Abba loved the Son and showed him all things that himself do, and he will show him greater works than these, that you may be amazed. For as the Abba raised up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quicken whom he will. This man gonna raise who he wanna raise. Remember, because he prayed for his own. His own. He make alive who he wanna make alive. He show mercy on whom he wanna show mercy. Come on out here to Romans 9. Just a little Romans 9 and 13. You know what? You can make a little bit of little 9 and 7. Little Romans 9 and 7. I'm finna get ready to wrap this up. Little Romans 9 and 7. Oh, my back hurt. My legs hurt too. That's a different thing. Ain't nothing but a little soreness, little drop sets, little rest pauses. I have to pull that double rep method out the bag again. I know some of you like, I don't know what none of that is. But a rest pause is when you do say 8 reps, you stop for 10 seconds, 20 seconds at the most, and you go back and you do some more. And you might do another rest pause and another rest pause. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do the same amount of reps that you did the first time. But that's just a way to squeeze a couple more reps, get a few more gains. Drop set ain't nothing but about if you got 300 pounds on there and you just do your set and then you strip the weight, some weight off, you do some more reps, so on and so forth. Double rep method. So say you did 12 reps, you do a rest pause till you get to 24. Reps, however many times, how many ever rest pauses it takes for you to get to 24. Romans 9 and 7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all sons, but in Isaac shall they see your seed be called. That is, they which are the sons of the flesh, these are not the sons of Elohim, but the sons of the promise is counted for the seed. Why? Because the promise is pure. The promise is pure. Period, point blank, because it comes from heaven. We'll get 1 Peter chapter 1 and back it up in a moment. But this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, the sons not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of Elohim according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that called. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Elohim? Elohim forbid. Well, he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that run, nor of him that will, nor of him that run, but of Elohim that show mercy. And that's just what it is. And he said, I won't forget your precepts. They made me alive. You can get Romans chapter 8 with that. Come on back to Psalms 119. We in verse 94. He said, I am yours. Save me, for I have sought your precepts. It just says Yasha, which is to be saved. Darash, which is for sought. Precepts at the end. Pakul, your statue. So that's what it says. Those who seek that word, they get saved. Well, you know Yahushua sought the Father. And that's why he would say, you seek, what he told you, seek and you shall find. Ain't that what he told you? I believe that's what he told you. You know that's what he told you. Listen to what he said in verse 95. The wicked have waited for me to destroy me, but I will consider your testimony. Well, we already started that in John 13, did we not? How the devil entered into Judas Iscariot to betray the Lord. How they waited and lied and wait. Huh? How the priests lie and wait, the murder in the way. Y'all know about that in Hosea? I don't think y'all know about it. I don't think y'all remember that. Let me say that. Some of you may not know. I think some of you don't remember that. Let me rephrase myself. Hosea chapter 6 and 4. See, that's the thing, right? That's what a lot of our people don't do. They not going to consider them testimonies. Consider is bene, which you know is the word for understand. Adah is the word for testimony or witness. Ayin, dalin, and hey. Come on, right? You know the sacrifice of Yahushua. You know the witness. Testimony of Yahushua, the Ruach of prophecy. What did we mention in verse 89? Your word is settled in heaven. It's established in heaven. Lamb saying from the foundation of the world. Now, I want you to sit back and think of every verse in this chapter that we done read so far, and they all deal with being taught, or they all deal with the shepherd, however you want to look at it. Verse 89 telling you the word settled in heaven. So he's telling you that the lamb slain from the foundation of the world, that's teaching. The faithfulness is under all generations, and the earth has been established where you got to teach the gospel to every generation. That's teaching. They continue this according to your ordinances. They all your servants. The heavens there declare his hand, the firmament declare his handiwork. They teaching. Your law been my delight, so I would have perished in my affliction. Well, he said, everyone that's been taught of the Father come to the Son. So since you delighted in being instructed of the Father, you delighted to know the Son, because had you believed Moses, you would have believed me. So therefore, you did not die in your affliction, and you had a resurrection from the dead, like we read in Hebrews chapter 11. You ain't forgot this precept because they made you alive. Well, you ain't forgot them or ignored them because you were taught them. Now you turn around and say, save me, I sought your precept. Well, you were seeking the instructions. That's why you wanted to be saved. And while the wicked were waiting for you to kill you, you considered his testimony. Because what did Yahushua tell Peter? I can call for 12 legions of Malachim right now, but how will the scripture be fulfilled? Here in Hosea chapter 6, verse, O Ephraim, what shall I do unto you? O Yehuda, what shall I do unto you? Your goodness is as a morning cloud, as the early dew would go away. Therefore I have hewed them by the prophets, I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and your judgments are as the light that go forth. We already read that about that light. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of Elohim more than burnt offerings. That's what he's sitting there telling you. Want to bring me sacrifices? I wanted you to be merciful. You want to bring me burnt offerings? I wanted you to learn about me. See, they just as stupid then as we are now. See, they thought they could bring sacrifices and burnt offerings, and that was sufficient. We think talking about not eating pork chops and telling each other we Israelites and wearing fringes is the same. Yet we lack mercy and have no knowledge of Elohim. We got the law. Use it done. I just want you to know. If ain't nobody told you today, let me be the first. You is a done. You don't know that man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's something I done thought about doing for at least, with y'all anyway, since we've actually been live. I've sat down and did it in parts here and there for my sisters a time or two when we stayed off Barnes Road in a townhouse. But like going all the way through it, we started once. I might have did a section here too on camera time. I don't remember. I will wager Yahuwah show me if I'm incorrect or remembering wrongly that we've done a time or two. But yeah, each division of Psalms 119 is tied to every character in the alphabet. I actually read it to the girls, one of them last week. I can't remember the word it was. It might have been hey. Letter, excuse me. It might have been hey. But yeah, each one ties. Each division in Psalms 119 is divided with each character in the olive top. And by thanks to Yahuwah, I have the ability to decipher and hit each other off of that. Yeah, we may have. I don't remember. If you say we did, then I'll take your word. I want you to look at this here, right? Oh, I'm still in Hosea 6. For they, like men, have transgressed the covenant, and there they have dealt treacherously against me. Gilead is the city of them that work iniquity and is polluted with blood, and as troops of robbers wait for a man, so the company of priests murder and the way by consent, for they commit lewdness. And see, when you look at treacherously, I believe that's a little bit of controversy. Let me confirm. Let me confirm. Yes, but God deceitfully, deal treacherously, offend faithlessly, deceitfully. But of course, that's a little bit of controversy. And of course, the troop of robbers also links into why Judas is called a robber. They lied in wait and they slayed a man. That's exactly what they did. No good bastards on that day. On that day. That's why you say the wicked waited for me to destroy me. Yahushua considered the word. Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to do the same? Are you going to consider that testimony? Are you going to understand that witness? Because that's the word right there, B'nai, right? Understand, discern, distinguish, consider, have understanding. By Yod and Noon, you're going to work, you're going to do the work of the Son of Life. You're going to do that work. You're going to consider that witness. It's a pure word. It's delightful. It's a promise. Last verse in it, 96. I've seen the end of all perfection, but your commandment is exceeding broad. Ra'ah, y'all know that scene. Perfection is tiklah. That is completeness. I want you to consider Tau, Ka, Lamad, A. Look at Yahushua teaching you that to be subdued to this covenant, because that's what he told you. It's Ezekiel 20. I bring you into the bond of the covenant after I purge out these rebels. After I get these sinners up out of here, I'm gonna be one with you. I gotta get these sinners up out of here though. When you look at exceedingly broad, and then that takes us back to the length, the breadth, the depth, and the height, that breadth. Those instructions are exceeding broad. That promise is very wide. You've seen the end of all, and it don't have no cut in there. I've seen this, what it say. Ra'ah cuts tiklah mitzvah ma'ud rakab. And that's all that's sitting there telling you. You've seen expanse. Remember, we were dealing with all that stuff with that breath, was dealing with the promise of getting that land. And that's what he was, if you done seen the end of all perfection, it's because you done seen the end of the promise. First Peter chapter 1, we'll call it a night from there. We'll actually get to the headline and version who will win on tomorrow. But we had to do all that to get to the headline. All this is dealing with how the words of the pure are pleasant words. That word, that gospel is a delightful word. It's clean. That's why you say that those who have to be, who are stewards of the word, they got to be found faithful. A lot of dudes just feel like they know they're an Israelite and they study the text all day long. That makes them sufficient and competent in order to instruct in a promise of which they have not heard nor believed for themselves. That's ugly as sin, ain't it? First Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia, elect according to the you heard he said, elect according to the foreknowledge of Elohim the Abba, through sanctification of the Ruach, under obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, grace unto you, shalom be multiplied. Notice that he said that these people were chosen according to the foreknowledge, like we read in Romans 9. Like we talked about in the beginning of our conversation this evening. It's foreknowledge. You've been chosen for that. You've been chosen for that. That's why you get taught. Those who've been chosen for the gospel, they get to hear the gospel. They get taught of it. Notice say through sanctification of the Ruach. That's what he told you in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's go and look at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I ain't going to read the bad part. We just going to read the good part. We could read the bad part, but I ain't going to read the bad part. Because the bad part is bad. That's just sad. It's reality, but it's sad. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. That's the people who get deceived by Satan. He say he just going to let them, because they don't got a love for the truth. They might be saved. They'll let them believe a lie so they can be damned and go to hell. You understand? Hallelujah indeed, young man. Hallelujah indeed. Verse 13, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. But we are bound to give thanks always to Elohim for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because Elohim have from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Ruach and belief for the truth, whereunto he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the esteem of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. Therefore, brethren, stand fast, hold the traditions which you have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. Now our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach himself and Elohim, even our Abba, which have loved us and have given us an everlasting consolation and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts, and establish you in every good word and work. That man say you've been sanctified by the Ruach from the beginning. So what does that mean? I mean, your spirit had been set aside from the foundation of the world, that as he just said, that when he called you by that gospel to obtain that favor, well, you stand fast and you hold the traditions that you've been taught. And that's what you just seen in Psalms 119, verses starting at verse 89. All that what he just said, you just seen that in Psalms 119, word for word, step for step. Praise the Lord. See, that's the beauty of the gospel. See, them pure, clean word, that's a promise. And that give you something to hold on to. And you're going to go through that A gap, holding that ball high and tight, because I can't fumble. I got to hold it high and tight. I got to get to the end zone. Verse 3. Baruch be Elohim, Abba of our Lord. This is 1 Peter chapter 1, by the way. Of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again. You know what he said? His abundant mercy, you've been born again. So pause. John chapter 1. We already talked about being born again, so we might as well just go ahead and give it the rest of the play. I pick it up at verse 6. John 1 and 6. There was a man sent from Elohim whose name was John. The same came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but he was sent to bear witness of that light, that was the true light, which light every man that come into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of Elohim. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his esteem. The esteem is of the only begotten of Abba, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him and cried, saying, This is he whom I spake. He that come after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. And of his fullness have we all received grace for grace. For Torah was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach. Favor and faith came by the Lord. See, Moses gave you the law. Yahushua gave you life. That's the difference. That's what a lot of people overlook. See, they look at grace as, see, we've been forgiven for a sin, we ain't got to sin, and it goes past that. That's favor and mercy. See, it tell you that in Psalms, mercy and truth. See, let me get that for you. Let me see which one. Is it in Psalms? I don't think it's in Psalm 43. I don't think it's in Psalm 43. It's a few of them in there. I got to do it. Come over here to Psalms. I don't want Psalms 25. You can get your Psalm 57, though. Psalm 57, Psalms 85. We'll go through a few of them. I got a few. This is an old thing. There was a time period, Lil Muffin probably don't remember. We used to take some of these exact verses and go through them step for step, to show you that grace and truth had always been prophesied of. And that grace and truth is just mercy and truth. And the mercy is the everlasting salvation that we by the blood of the Lamb. So why would you forsake such a great mercy as that? By acting a fool. We only act a fool towards that which we don't understand. Because if we understand, then we will behave better. That's all. That's all it be. I want to pick it what verse I want to pick this up at. I give you the whole thing. It ain't that long. Psalm 57. Be merciful unto me, O Elohim. Be merciful unto me. My soul trust in you. Yea, in the shadow of your wings, I will make my refuge until these calamities be overpassed. That's how you have to sit back and look at things, that no matter what go on. We talk about that shadow, right? With that tree, Ezekiel 31, all that stuff. So whatever go past, just dwell in the house. The name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. Those that run into it are safe. I will cry unto Elohim, most high unto Elohim, that perform all things for me. He shall send from heaven and save me from the reproach of him that would swallow me up. Selah. Elohim send forth his truth, his mercy, and his truth. Now, this is what he tell you. That's what he just told you. He sent forth the mercy and the truth. That's Yahushua, because he said law came by Moses, grace and truth came by Yahushua. But see, we just dealing with the fact that this been spoken. He told you in Isaiah to send somebody. Didn't he tell you he said that a law will proceed from him. He said, I proceed and come from Abba. If you love him, you love me too. And you know what mercy is? Kased and Amah. Goodness, kindness, faithfulness. That's what that is. It's the goodness of Elohim. Let's continue. But you exalted, O Elohim, above the heavens. Let your esteem be above all the earth. Now, why you seen them go back into the heavens? They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They dig a pit for me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Because what they thought to do unto him had been done unto them. When they sat back and said, let his blood be on our children's children, the doggone grave you dig for the Lord, you dig for yourself, you dummy. Because if you know the law, whosoever sheds man's blood, by man, his blood must be shed. But listen what he say. My heart is fixed, O Elohim. My heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Awake up, my esteem. Awake up, sultry in heart. I myself will awake early. It just said, I will awake early. I guess you know Yahushua got up early. Let's continue. I will praise you, O Lord, among the people, and I will sing unto you among the nations. That's why he sent the apostles out and sent his Ruach out, and he's singing unto his Father amongst the nations. They get to hear the gospel. For your mercy is great unto the heavens, and your truth unto the clouds. Be you exalted, O Elohim, above the heavens, and let your esteem be above all the earth. And that's why that man's sitting right there in the heavens, in the Kadash tabernacle, to make intercession on your behalf. Psalms 85, so we can get on up out of here. Psalms 85 and 5. Listen what he say. Make it verse 4. Turn us, O Elohim of our salvation, and cause your anger towards us to cease. Will you be angry with us forever? Will you draw out your anger to all generations? Will you not revive us again, that your people may rejoice in you? Revive his kaya. Show us mercy, O Yahuwah. Grant us your salvation. I will hear what Elohim Yahuwah will speak. He will speak peace unto his people and to his saints, but let them not turn again to folly. See, I just mentioned that to y'all the other day. Remember, right? Pause. I'm going to grab you the book of Acts real quick, like, right? Acts chapter 3. And look at what Peter told. Make sure Acts 3 is what the one that I want. Acts 3 is sufficient. 3 and 22. Matter of fact, three and 20. I might want Acts 4, but I'll see it alone. It's actually probably Acts 10, but Acts 3 and 20. And he shall send Yahushua HaMashiach, which was preached unto you, whom heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things, which Elohim have spoken by the mouth of all his prophets since the world began. For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall Yahuwah your Elohim raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall you hear in all things whatsoever you shall say unto him. It shall come to pass that every soul which shall not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. And all the prophets from Samuel and those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold of those days. You are the sons of the prophets and of the covenant which Elohim made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, in your seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. Unto you first, Elohim, having raised up his son, sent him to bless you, and turning away every one of you from his iniquities. See, that's what it was right here in John Acts 10 and 36. The word which Elohim sent unto the sons of Yasharal, preaching shalom by Yahushua HaMashiach. He is the Lord of all. Because he said he will speak peace unto his people. Remember what he told you? Him who bring the gospel of peace, how beautiful are the feet of him that bring good tidings. That bring good tidings. Just don't return to folly. Don't be stupid. Psalms 85 and 9. Surely his salvation is near to them that fear him, that esteem may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. And again, right, he just told you, right? Kased and Amah. That's what you're going to see every time. Kased and Amah. Yahusha is grace and truth. That grace and truth met together when they hung him on the tree, because he was faithful enough to the words that was settled in heaven to die. And because of that, the righteousness of faith and that shalom, because now the authority, they have destroyed the authority attached to chaos or death has been consumed. They met and they kissed each other. Kissed is Nashak, which is to kiss, which is noon, Shan, and Kuf. And now you can see how the last, matter of fact, I see how the light and life are paired, or light and life is one, because the righteousness and shalom of Elohim is one, because he were preaching peace to the people, and the peace to the people is the faith and the believe on Yahuwah that makes an individual be determined to be righteous, because the grace or the mercy and the truth met together. They met on the stake, which allowed the righteousness or the faith and the peace to kiss. And guess what it says in verse 11? Truth sprang out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. And y'all know how truth sprang up out of the earth. Samach for spring, if you would. You know how that happened. He rose from the dead. Yea, Yahuwah shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the ways of his steps. I could go on days and days with grace and truth, but we running long. So y'all willing, I'll do some more of it tomorrow. You understand? That's an old thing right there, though. But I probably ain't did it since by 2012. You know what I'm saying? And maybe some sparingly sparsed in here and there. But let's finish this First Peter chapter 1. But it's still tying into the theme of what we're talking about this week, which is how the good tidings make the bones fat, and how the pleasant words are the pure, pleasant words. Praise Elohim indeed. First Peter chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed be Elohim, Abba of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible, undefiled, that fade not away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. So hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. So I want you to sit back and consider all these things. We have a little bit more to go. If we're willing, I'll probably pick another letter if I can find one that's congruent with what we're dealing with in regards to what we're talking about. But understand, we'll probably do a little bit more talking about mercy and truth meeting together, because as you can see, grace, Moses didn't come with that. Moses didn't bring faith, and Moses didn't bring kindness. He didn't bring that. He brought law. That's what Yahuwah gave him on that mountain. He gave him tablets of stone. He gave him a law that would make him a wise and understanding people. Yahushua gave you grace and truth. Yahushua gave you mercy and truth. Yahushua gave you Kased and Amah. Two totally different things. Two totally different things, which means he brought you pleasant words, or he brought you pure, pleasant words, or a clean, delightful promise. That's what he brought you. See, they don't want to talk about that. So you don't want to talk about that. I'm gonna tell you something, man, before we get out of here. If you and it's still factual. Don't get what I'm saying. That if somebody says it, it's not factual. But if somebody can only tell you that Yahushua came to show you how to walk out the law, and all he talking about is Sabbaths and pork and this, that, and the third, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. He's a dummy. He's a dummy. You know what I'm saying? It's really for you. See, the reason why and I keep telling y'all, there's the reason why we go through all this stuff and look at all this stuff. Just like what you read in Psalms 119. When the wicked lie in wait for you, you're not going to forget his precepts. You're not going to forget them. See, let me read that to you again. See, that's the thing why we go through all this stuff. So when your faith get tried and you under adversity, when it get real, and you can't lean on you don't eat no pork chops, ain't no pork on your fork, and you keep Sabbath. When it get real, you can be able to say, "I'll never forget your word, for with them you made me alive." And it said, "Unless your word had been my delight, I would have perished in my suffering. I'm yours, save me. I sought your word. Though the wicked wait for me to destroy me, I consider your witness." That's why we talk about what we talk about and go through what we go through. That's what grace and truth gonna do for you. That's what it did for the Lord. You just seen mercy and truth have met together, righteousness and peace kissed, and truth sprang out the earth. Come on, man. Come on, man. I thank Yahuwah. He gave me that understanding that was the gospel. I want to say probably late 2009, 2010. Like that's clear as day. At least it was to me. But I know that's according to the eyes of Elohim. But that was clear to me. That's the Lord. And what that was talking about. I mean, he taught you the faith in Elohim until you for you to know Elohim, to be more direct. You know what I'm saying? Because the spiritual understanding of the Torah was there for them the whole time. They just didn't believe it. They just didn't believe it. Because some of the prophets expounded on that, but what they didn't, what he came to bring was the promise of everlasting life and the redemption from death and the forgiveness of sins. But his main objective really was to teach the people to know God, to actually know who Allah is, to know the Father. And they rejected the Father. They didn't want to know him. You know what I'm saying? He was really coming to teach them, to learn them, and knowing the person who they kept saying was their mighty one. But in reality, they didn't know him. And they were refusing to know him through lies, as he says in Jeremiah and a few other places. We've always refused to know our Elohim. You're welcome. We've always refused to know our Elohim because we trust in lies. The minute we let go of lies is the minute that we'll begin to know him. We hold on to lies, and lies ain't just lies about Christmas. We hold to lies, period. The lies of society, the lies of your family, the lies of your friends, and worst of all, the lies that we tell ourselves. But I bless y'all out the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahweh. I appreciate y'all. Yahuwah willing, man, we'll pick it up on tomorrow. Keep it rolling and make it do what it do. Yahuwah willing, till that time.